all geek to me!
Hello, welcome to episode 5 of the It's All Geek to Me podcast. Now, it is time for some geek news, so cue the applause. And cue the laugh track. Now let's get into the geek news. Whoopi Goldberg is suing Gordon Ramsay for throwing her out of one of his restaurants. Unless Gordon now looks like The Rock, he ain't lifting weight challenged Whoopi. This week, Paul McCartney was interviewed and asked about Yoko Ono at recording sessions. The former Beatle said, Yoko, being literally in the middle of the recording session was something you had to deal with. I don't think any of us particularly liked it. It was an interference in the workspace. Paul tells the truth. She was a giant pain in the ass. It really was. Jada Pinkett Smith came out this week saying that she and Will Smith have been separated for 7 years and that she got the rights to put the news out to the public. Jada, like the Hollywood shark she is, waited 7 years until she had a book coming out. Shocking that the love died between these two. The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon, is ready to come out with season 2. Funny, I always thought The Walking Dead was the cast of The View. Legendary comic book writer and artist Keith Giffen died, leaving behind work with DC and Marvel that shaped comics forever. I think it would be fitting for him to be buried in a pencil box. Hello! Welcome to It's All Geek to Me, episode 5. Today I'm joined by two good friends of mine. My buddy Paramount today. Say hello.
Hey.
Yep, I know. Yep. And then we have my buddy from episode 3 of the podcast when we discussed Umbrella Academy, but he's changed his name today. What is it?
Tornado.
Okay. So today...
Also, for everyone to know, this is take 3.
Yeah, this is take 3. The last 2 times we had some problems, so we're gonna have to film this. This is take 3. So today we are discussing Star Wars today. But first of all, how did you guys get into Star Wars in the first place?
I watched it all my life.
You watched it all your life, but when in time did you get introduced to it, Tornado? When did you get introduced to it?
When I was a little kid.
What? Okay. Paramount, what about you?
Advertisement.
That's it? Well, I got introduced to it because, the games. I got introduced to the Lego games and the Lego sets. And then they showed me the movie. Alright, so, do you guys want to talk about the movies first, or you guys just want to talk about the shows first?
We'll talk about the shows first.
Alright, the movies can wait, because we've got a pretty heated discussion for later. But, for shows... first of all, let's just talk about the Clone Wars show, because the Clone Wars show is one of the best Star Wars shows ever made. And why is that? For the reason, they did make a 2003 micro miniseries for the show, but now it's no longer canon because the 2008 show is on Disney Plus. What do you guys think of the Clone Wars show?
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it was alright.
Alright. Oh, do you guys know there was actually 2 Star Wars shows in the 80s called Star Wars Droids and Star Wars Ewoks?
Yeah, you mentioned it a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mentioned it a few times. It's a good watch. I recommend you guys watch those on Disney Plus.
Too out of date.
Wait, what? Wait, what, Tornado?
It's too out of date.
Alright, well, we got Star Wars Rebels next. Alright, I'm just gonna be totally honest with you guys. I thought the first 2 seasons of Star Wars Rebels sucked. Alright?
Yeah, they were pretty good.
Wait, what? Paramount, what?
Agreed.
Yeah, thank you. Well, one, because, they literally depend on, little cameos from other Star Wars films or shows. Like, Dave Filoni, you made a successful show before. Do it again. But the last two seasons were cool too. Like Darth Maul is in it. Can't deny that's pretty cool. Oh yeah. Speaking of that, I like how they made Darth Maul live, and they were like, "We're gonna make him live, and then we're gonna put him in the Star Wars Clone Wars show." My boy Tornado really knows what we're talking about because he is obsessed with the animated shows. Do you want to talk a bit about the animated shows in your opinion, Tornado?
Yeah, they're really good. I like the Clone Wars series; those are great. Then most animated series are just the best because they're high quality and they have a lot in the storyline, and it mainly show the background of Star Wars.
Yeah, I agree. Paramount. What about you? What do you think about them?
Cartoons are not my thing, so I never was a big fan of them.
Did you watch any of them?
Yeah, a couple
Okay, good.
with my father.
Because at first I would be like, then why were you saying why are the shows good? All right. Have you guys seen Star Wars? All right, there's a few Star Wars shows I hear that are kind of bad, like Star Wars Resistance. Have you guys seen Star Wars Resistance?
No, sir.
Thank you. Good.
No,
Stay away from it. It sucks.
maybe.
But now we're getting into three good series. Star Wars: The Bad Batch. That's the recent animated series. I really enjoy the first season, but I still don't understand why Crosshair wants to serve the Empire. Oh yeah, the Bad Batch. If you don't know Paramount, because this guy right here, he's not keeping up with Star Wars news. I know. At home.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, Paramount, but it's
Angie.
about these clones that served in like during the Clone Wars, but they have like mutations, so they have like little abilities. So there's Hunter, Echo, Crosshair, Tech, Wrecker, and their Clone Force 99.
It's basically much more so genetic altering than a more mutation because they're like
Yeah,
meant to make those Bad Batch.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, our buddy BB and Braden has finally joined us after so
You
long.
said his real name.
No, no,
Doesn't
no.
matter. We're already recording, so you're
I
muted
was
no matter what.
I was at lunch.
Oh,
Don't
BB,
worry,
we're in the middle of
your voice is
recording
your name will be
Why are
blurred
you
out.
all talking at the same time?
all right. Well,
because we're in the middle of recording,
we're in the
BB.
middle of recording. You showed up. We're sorry.
Beat
Interesting.
your sheep. Beat your sheep.
All right. Well, just
What?
continue. Just continue. Yeah, but our pal BB or Braden or B has showed up finally.
Why do you keep saying the name?
Well, you said you were comfortable.
You said his real name 3 times.
We'll just call him
Just
B.
bleep it out.
We'll just call him B. He likes B. Thankfully he showed up. We're just talking about the Star Wars shows. Can you believe these guys? These guys have not seen Star Wars Resistance. These guys.
I haven't seen it either.
Well, you've seen
I
some
haven't
of
seen
it.
it either.
No, never even heard of
Well,
it.
What are
now
you
we're getting.
new?
All right, moving on. We got Star Wars Visions. I know Tornado really likes this series.
Yes, it's pretty good. It adds a lot to the storylines and it makes sense of everything. So I really like that about that.
All
It,
right.
it's really
What do I think about it? It's anime, but in Star Wars. But it was really well
Oh,
done. Paramount, have you seen? What do you think of Star Wars Visions?
I don't like anime, so I didn't watch it.
Then what are you? All right, you know what? Forget it. B, have you seen Star Wars Visions? If not, would you like to see it?
No and no,
Why not?
because I never even
Aren't
heard
you
of
a
it.
weeb?
Yeah.
Am I what?
No. All right. Now we're going into live action shows. We got The Mandalorian. All right, Paramount really wanted to talk about this show, so I'm just gonna let him take the mic.
Wait,
Take
what
the mic,
show?
Paramount. Take the mic.
Wait, what show?
The Mandalorian.
No, what show?
The
Oh, the
Mandalorian.
Mandalorian. Yeah. You know, like the so like we got the Mandalorian, and he's like he got to go kill Baby Yoda, but it's a baby, so he doesn't kill him, and instead he brings him back home in the period of 2 series, and he face reveals
All right. Yes, he does face reveal, but that's like
and
not the main.
guns.
He actually he reveals his face like 3 times.
Yeah,
he
I
looks like
know.
Dream.
Yeah, 3 times. I really liked The Mandalorian. It was really different for the series at the time to make like a Disney Plus show. And when I heard these people talk about it, I was like, The Mandalorian, what are they talking about? And then I watched the show and I was like, okay. Why did you want Baby Yoda to officially be called Baby Yoda instead of Grogu?
So Grogu just sounds like an old man, bro. Who names a child
Well,
Grogu?
he is pretty
Baby
old.
Yoda just sounds cuter.
Well, isn't they said like Grogu's like in his hundreds or something? I think.
It's so isn't yeah, so yep, what you said.
Yeah, but it doesn't make sense. Like, okay, it does make sense, but I just think like he should have been like Yoda's son or something.
Well, why do they have to be
No,
related?
because Yoda been dead for a long time.
Yeah, Yoda's been dead.
No, he was alive during the series.
Oh, and then oh yeah.
Oh
there's
yeah,
also
because the series
Yaddle.
happened after
That's true.
the Empire was defeated. So he was dead, but he was only dead for maybe like a year or two.
Oh, and there's also there's another being of his species in the Star Wars first movie, The Phantom Menace, and in Star Wars this brings me to my next entry, Star Wars Tales of the Jedi. There was another. If you're wondering, are there more species like Grogu and Yoda? Yes, there was. There was like another one named Yaddle, and she was a master on the Jedi Council, and then Count Dooku killed her. If you're wondering if there was more. Pretty
Yoda
good.
was alive because Yoda died in one of the movies,
Yeah, he died
the
in
Rising
the Jedi.
movies. So he was alive. So they should have brought him to Yoda. Grogu.
Yeah. The Book of Boba Fett. The Book of Boba Fett, pretty good. But I've got some problems with 2 of the episodes. I got 2 problems.
I have none.
One, they don't explain Boba Fett pretty clear. Paramount, do you agree with me?
Agreed. Who even is that? You know what I'm saying?
He's a Mandalorian.
Mandalorian.
No
Like
shit.
they really don't make.
He's a bounty
sense
hunter.
about
He's a
him.
bounty hunter who's in Mandalorian armor.
They really don't make sense though about like they don't really make the show about him. It's mostly like about him.
Half of the show isn't even about
I
him.
think it's literally specifically about him. It's about him
and
his,
What
then
he finds a
his
new
name-
monster pet, and he is growing an empire that Boba Fett once had.
Well,
Not Boba Fett.
his name is in the
Fat One.
title, but he's not even in like half the episodes.
Yeah.
That's what
So it
I'm
has to build
saying.
storyline.
And then we got Obi-Wan Kenobi. What do you guys think of the Obi-Wan Kenobi series?
Pretty fire.
Mid, or do you think
Far.
it's okay?
I mean, it's alright.
There's a lot of people though
It's
who
aight.
had some problems with it. Like specifically, they show one flashback scene, and it's Obi-Wan training Anakin, and the actor Hayden Christensen, he's like playing the Padawan Anakin, and he's not even digitally de-aged correctly. Do you guys?
I think Obi-Wan was fine. Obi-Wan is like my second or first favorite Star Wars character, so I liked him.
Obi-Wan is pretty OP.
It was also cool to see Anakin again.
Yeah, it's good for them to be played by Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor. It's good to see those actors playing those characters again. Now we got Andor. What do you guys think of Andor?
Andor is a great series. I love how it goes to an old character from a movie. Like I like that they're not making a new random character. It's a really great show. I like how badass he is. He's really cool.
Yeah.
I agree with Tornado.
Someone disagree with you, Tornado. It's Paramount. Paramount, why don't you agree with him?
It wasn't that good. Let's be honest here.
What do you think about the character Cassian Andor from Rogue One?
Goofy.
Why do you think he's goofy?
Just how he acts. I don't like his personality.
Okay, Braden, what do you think of I meant B, sorry. I cut that. What do you think of Andor?
I think it was pretty cool.
Alright.
pause
I
real
agree
quick?
with pretty much what Tornado said.
Alright. And now we've got the most recent one, Ahsoka. A lot of people have recently been saying this.
I think you're saying the name wrong.
It's no, we're not doing that. Many people have been.
Isn't it Ahsoka?
No.
Like
Yeah,
Ahsoka?
Ahsoka.
No, it's
Ahsoka.
Or is it Ahsoka?
No. So.
Ahsoka.
Put it in the comments.
What?
How do we pronounce it?
Yeah, but let's just say
We have to Google this.
This
This is very
They
important. We have to
pronounced it
Google
Ahsoka,
this.
Ahsoka, the creators.
Okay, so there's an H before the S, so then it would be Ahsoka. Wait, let me
Oh, like
Google
isn't the
Translate.
H silent though?
Alright, let's just continue.
Let me
continue.
Google
Yes,
Translate
continue.
this.
Stop. So.
Wait, you use his real name. BB stop. That's the correct pronunciation.
Fine. BB stop. So, Ahsoka, it
Yeah,
was
BB.
good. A lot of people have recently been going online and giving their opinions about it, and I really like the show. I like that they have Hayden Christensen perfectly de-aged. They have him wear his Clone Wars outfit, and they even show Ezra Bridger finally returning after, like, what, 2018? That's when the series
I
ended.
think the Ahsoka series is bad because they bring animated characters into real life Star Wars, so they look really
Why do you
weird.
hate that?
They literally stand out so much. Like if you look at a normal Rebel and you look at them, they look so weird. They do not need to bring animated series into real live action.
Why? It's pretty cool.
They're full of bright and colorful. That's not really a good Star Wars vibe.
Right, and you have the Disney films, and they bring those animated classics into live action, and nobody's giving a problem about those.
I don't like those either.
Okay. Yeah. Alright, so, and then we have a few Star Wars shows that are in the works, but I'm just seeing if you guys heard of them. Skeleton Crew.
No.
Okay. The Acolyte.
No.
Alright, that one will be out soon. And A Droid Story.
Sure.
Okay, so you've heard kind of about it. Lando. They're making a series about Lando.
Beep beep wahoo.
That's been changed actually recently. They've been changing it to like a movie, and now it's come. Now it was a show originally, and now they're changing it to like a movie. So there's a lot going on here. And then there's one Star Wars series that they announced, but it's recently been like in the trash. It's called Rangers of the New Republic. Have any of you heard about that project upcoming recently, or it being thrown in the trash?
Well, it hasn't released, so no one watched the stuff that has
Like-
been released unless they're critics.
In the trash.
So we'll never know until it releases how
It's
good
not
it is.
releasing.
Did you
It's in the
crumple
trash.
up your
They got rid of it.
script?
All right.
Well, then we'll never know.
Now let's get into the movies. So where do you want to start? The
Yes, let's
prequels,
talk about the
original?
great Christmas movie. That was like one of the best
No,
movies
we
of all
do not
time.
talk about that. Do you hear me? We do not talk
It
about
was
that.
potentially the most canon movie there is.
It's not the Christmas. You know what? People at home, I want you to type in the comments saying that you hate the Star Wars Holiday Special. It is a piece
Well,
of
what
If
if
you
they
love the
don't?
Star Wars Holiday Special,
You can't
type
tell
in
them
chat
to say that if they
TBD.
don't hate it.
Well, please just tell
What's
me.
so bad about it?
You
Everyone put your unbiased opinions in the comments.
Yeah, just put your
Yes.
own opinions in. But the Star Wars Holiday Special was so bad. George Lucas even hated it that he tried to destroy every copy known to man. He tried, but it didn't work because there's many bootleg copies. I've seen
How
it
did
like
he try
3
to destroy?
times, and I
Like,
think it's so bad. In fact,
if he has
Possibly
my
like that.
YouTube channel, I'll
if he
give
has
you a
legal
full review.
ownership of the movie, then he can just get it to stop being a thing.
Yeah, and that's the thing I don't understand. But it's his problem. There are good things about it, like they do show the first Star Wars animated cartoon technically in it, and it's on Disney Plus in its own media. But Tornet, why do you love the holiday special? There's
Tornet?
god awful parts. There's stupid parts, hilarious parts.
It's
like
so good. I
throwback
mean,
funny.
it shows Chewbacca's father and mother and
Lumpy
siblings.
Mala.
It was originally meant to be canon, so they made it to fit the storyline perfectly. So it is canon because of how they made it to fit the
His wife
storyline.
is Mala, his father Itchy, and his son Lumpy. You can't make this stuff up. You can't. Like,
I think you can,
Yeah.
actually.
There's another
I think
Luke
that's how
movie.
movies are made.
I know that's how movies
Yeah,
are
that's
made, but the
basically what they
characters,
do.
why did they make those characters for the special? It's so stupid. Paramount, please tell me you agree with me.
Yep.
Do you agree?
Paramount's never
Disney
seen the
family
special.
business?
He is not a very good source of
Nope, I
information.
saw it.
Okay, then what happens?
A lot.
Yeah,
Of bad
Exactly.
stuff.
I can't even explain it into words how I feel right now.
It feels great. I mean, I'm gonna watch it every Christmas. You know.
You know what's funny is that me and my family watch like all the Star Wars movies before Christmas, but I've never actually seen the actual Christmas Star Wars movie.
Good.
It released in the 1900s, but then it was taken out, so it's pretty old. But now it's on YouTube, so you can watch it.
All right. So moving on from the special, let's get into the movies. Do you want to go from the prequels, the original, or the new trilogy?
Prequels to the sequels.
All right.
The new trilogy.
All right. So first, we're gonna start with the prequels. So what do you guys think of the Phantom Menace in general? The Phantom Menace.
It's overrated.
That one's one of the best, but I don't like Jar Jar Binks. Darth Maul is pretty cool, but I feel like he wasted in Clone Wars. Like they put too much of him in Clone Wars and should have just kept it in the movie because he was really cool in the movie and not so good in the Clone Wars.
Well, he is pretty cool in the Clone Wars. He literally takes over Mandalore, for crying out loud.
He goes mentally insane many times in there. He loses his limbs various ways. It's not pretty.
I know, but you gotta admit it's pretty cool. A lot of people actually, when they heard that George Lucas was making a prequel trilogy, when people went to go see it, they even brought their own kids and their old Star Wars toys from like the 70s and 80s to go see it with their all of that. That was a big mainstream event, by the way.
Wait, so they brought their toys with them to the movie theater?
Yeah, they dressed up in Jedi robes. They dressed up as the Sith. They brought Star Wars toys. They brought their own children to go see it. It was a big deal.
I think Phantom Menace is an overhated movie. Too many people say it's bad without actually having any good reason other than the Metachlorian thing, which isn't even that bad.
Yeah, it's not that bad. I really love the story.
I think it was the first Star Wars movie that I've actually seen when I was a kid.
Yeah, same thing here too. That was like really the first instance my parents showed me of getting into Star Wars. All right, Attack of the Clones. All right, let's be honest, it sucks. Oh, kind of sucks.
It's not bad, but it's like the most forgettable Star Wars movie to ever exist. Like,
Yeah.
no one knows.
I'm glad that it introduced clones of very good. I'm glad that they clones. It led up to the Clone Wars series, but other than that, it's very forgettable. I forget most of it, and you can sum it up by a little kid's book. So
the only really like parts that anyone cares about is the Boba Fett, not the Boba Fett, the Jango Fett stuff, and the yeah, that too.
And the final battle.
That was pretty cool, but
yeah, that was cool. But the rest of the movie is boring, and nothing really important happens.
Yeah, I do like the process of how they showed the clones' existence. I do like that one of the Jedi thought there was going to be like this big problem, so that's why he wanted to clone army to be ready for the Republic. I do think that was pretty.
Well, there was a big problem: the Separatists.
Yeah. All right.
But the only reason there was a big problem is because the whatever the main antagonist's name is, the Emperor Palpatine decided to want clones, so that's why he made it. He only made the droids to get the clones.
Okay. Now we get to possibly maybe everyone's favorite Star Wars movie, Revenge of the Sith. What do you guys love about it? We'll start with Paramount.
It's my favorite Star Wars movie.
Paramount, you don't want to go first? You want to go last? All right. So, B, what do you want to say about about Revenge of the Sith? What do you like about it?
So it's my favorite Star Wars movie. It has probably my favorite Star Wars character, General Grievous. We see Anakin's negative character arc, which they tried to do in Attack of the Clones, but kind of failed.
But do you think Hayden Christensen's acting got a little better, and that's why he's able to show it more well in this film?
I didn't like that one too much.
Well, part of Attack of the Clones that made it bad is that Hayden Christensen wasn't really he wasn't a bad actor, but
was like unknown at the time. They picked an unknown guy.
And also the romance stuff with Anakin and Padme.
Yeah, that was pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he kill the Sand People in Attack of the Clones or Revenge of the Sith? I don't remember.
Attack of the Clones. That was
pretty
bad. That is a thing I do not like, and I'm glad they don't show it. I really like Revenge of the Sith. One, it's memorable. You remember every single scene. It's memorable. You remember everything about it, and it connects. It all connects. And one, the idea. George Lucas had this idea in his head since the 70s, because he knew the two had an epic showdown. He knew in A New Hope that they met each other after a long time. And then when they finally realized it, the fans were not disappointed at all. Does it make sense that Anakin got burned? Does that make sense why he's in the suit, or did you guys think it was a different injury?
I feel like he should be dead, so I feel like, yeah, it would make sense, but like I feel like he would be able to recover and maybe have some robotic limbs, but not
I
arms.
thought it was like another injury. I thought it was like something bad. Maybe he breathed in like toxic gas, which he did. He did breathe in some toxic gas on Mustafar. He did, but it was mostly the burning on his body and the smoke that caused him to breathe it in. So technically, he did breathe in toxic chemicals into his lungs.
Yeah, I think everybody who was there, every person, like Obi-Wan and Anakin, should be dead right now because of the toxins. But like Obi-Wan just walks it off like nothing happened. Like he's not breathing in.
Well, Anakin. Well, turns out, like, I don't know if you guys notice it, but like, everyone knows Obi-Wan cuts off his legs. He does say, "Don't try it," but Anakin did it, and he cut off his legs. But if you realized, I don't know if you realized, Obi-Wan didn't even mean to cut off his other hand. Did you realize that in the movie? He cut off his other hand.
I don't remember that.
I don't think Obi-Wan cut off his own hand.
No, he didn't cut off the robot hand. He cut off the other left hand by mistake. He cut it off.
Why?
He didn't mean to. He didn't even mean to. He cut the left hand off, and then he cut his legs off. So
But like he's a Jedi, he would know what he's doing. He's really skilled and experienced. He isn't like, oh, I
He
accidentally cut
is
your
a
leg.
master Jedi.
Well, it makes
He's
sense.
not like, oh,
Literally,
I accidentally
Anakin
cut
is
your head
just
off.
a
Sorry,
body.
man.
Literally, Anakin for Darth Vader, he's literally just an upper body. No arm, no, not even a half an arm, no hand, and no legs. He's literally more machine than man.
Well, except all his majority reason limbs
Yeah, like Paramount
and
agrees with me.
blood
Do you think Anakin is
and
literally just a
circulation.
lifeless piece of body, Paramount? Do you think it's just a lifeless piece of body?
Yeah.
No, he's still alive.
Oh, how did
He
he throw
shouldn't be.
Palpatine off?
Nothing without the robot.
He wouldn't have thrown
reviving him.
Palpatine off if he was lifeless. He still had a lot of spirit in him. He was just corrupted by the dark side.
Yeah.
Bro, like that cyborg guy from Teen Titans, honestly.
Yeah.
He's alive, but he probably shouldn't be because
Also,
he's
if he
in
was
a lot of
more a
lava.
robot, then the electricity would have short-circuited all his robotic parts before he was able to throw Emperor Palpatine into the void.
Yeah. All right, now we get
Also,
into the sorry. What were you gonna say?
Anakin, he's alive as Darth Vader, but he probably shouldn't be because do you know how hot lava is? Apparently, George Lucas didn't.
Right.
It's a little warm. It's like a hot shower, but like a little hotter.
Well, I don't know how hot of showers you're taking, but
All right. Now we get into the original trilogy, the one that started it all. I love it. I like A New Hope. Like, George Lucas had no clue he was going to be big off of this. Do you think Star Wars was just one of those lucky things that happened and became a big franchise?
Yeah.
No, not even
Probably.
close. I think it was well thought of and pretty cool, and I think it became a big franchise because of its time and effort into the franchise.
Well, if the thing didn't blow up, it would have been one of those like forgettable '70s movies. Okay, not all movies from the '70s are terrible, but it's like it would have been one of those. But the thing just blew up out of nowhere.
Not out of nowhere. It's because of how good it was. I mean, they put a lot of time and effort, and this is a pretty good director, so.
Yeah, and it was well thought of. He knew the story. He knew how the story would go from beginning to end. And he knew already about because the prequels weren't made yet till like years later, but he knew how the story would go. He knew about the downfall of Anakin and Obi-Wan's friendship. He knew about the Jedi Order, the Clone Wars. So he knew all this would happen since day one he wrote Star Wars. So he knew all that. Now we get into The Empire Strikes Back, which is basically everybody's second favorite Star Wars film. Do you agree? The Empire Strikes Back is your second favorite film?
Well, my favorite is either Revenge of the Sith or Empire Strikes Back.
My favorites in the first Death Star gets destroyed, and the one where the brand new Death Star that Kylo Ren has really destroys all the planets. Those are the two favorites in my opinion.
Well, technically, in Empire Strikes Back, they're not even on a Death Star. They're on a ship, basically. Why is the Empire Strikes Back considered basically everybody's second favorite Star Wars film? Why?
Well, there's the obvious. I am your father scene.
Yeah, that
Agreed.
that changed cinema forever.
They also included a lot of really cool new characters like Lando, Boba Fett. Was Boba Fett in New Hope? And
No, it wasn't.
all right, so they introduced Boba Fett, Lando, and some other cool characters.
And really,
And also they had good setting, the Cloud Kingdom place
Cloud
planet thing. That was pretty cool setting to have a movie in. And I think Jabba the Hutt was also introduced in Empire Strikes Back.
He was kind of introduced, but they did introduce all the bounty hunters, which I thought was pretty cool that they got bounty hunters.
Yeah, the
Oh,
bounty
also
hunters
Yoda.
are some of the best characters in Star Wars.
And also Yoda. Yoda was introduced in Dagobah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it makes sense why that's everybody's second favorite Star Wars film. Now we get into Return of the Jedi. What do you guys think about that film? The closing to the original trilogy.
I think it wasn't as good as New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, but it was still a really good finish to the original trilogy.
Why do you say that?
Well, I'd say the second half is the best, where they actually put work into finishing the story and wrapping it up in a good resolution. The first half of it is mostly just like a side quest to get on Solo.
But you gotta admit that was pretty cool though.
It was good. I like the fight on the ships, and obviously Boba Fett is a great character.
Yeah, and I love how they show like what happened to him. But I also love how they show. I love the funny scene where like Han Solo like has to like try to save Lando, and he's like, "Wait, I thought you were blind." And he's like, "I am," but he helps. But he like in one shot, it's just like done, even though he's blind.
He thinks he's a Jedi, but he probably has Force powers.
Probably.
I don't think Han Solo has Force
I don't
powers.
think Han Solo could.
Well, the other guy, the blind guy, has Force powers.
Boba Fett?
No, the guy who's blind has likely have Force
We'll
powers.
get to that in a minute.
Oh,
the guy
Rogue
who
One.
thinks he's a
Return of
Jedi.
the Jedi.
Yeah, the
I
Cell.
do understand what you're saying, B. I do agree the first half is a little side quest of getting Han Solo back, but I do really like when they go to Endor, and then that's when things start piling up. We get introduced to the Ewoks.
I think the Ewoks, they're kind of like just Jar Jar Binks 2.0. Or actually, they're Jar Jar Binks 1.0 since they came
that
before.
was the original thing they had. But they are pretty good fighters, and they do actually help the like good guys win.
Yeah, it was fun to see them fight back against the Empire.
Yeah, because the Empire basically took over their world.
Yeah, they do that sometimes.
Yeah, and I think the ending where Luke has to fight Palpatine and then Darth Vader. Seeing Darth Vader throw a Palpatine off the ledge, he should be dead. A lot of people wondered, why did Darth Vader stop breathing? There was a theory where because Palpatine was alive, he basically was like the big thing, like connected him to staying alive. But a lot of people think it was because of the electricity. It was damaging his suit, or it was the gas from the generator that blew up, and he breathed it in. So that was probably why. What do you guys think?
I think he was probably dead for a while, but he was still alive because he had to
he was pretty weak.
make the prophecy.
Yeah,
the prophecy had to come true at some point, so he had to live for that.
And I think too, like I can see what you're talking about because after he drops Palpatine, he's very weak. Like he's almost ready about to fall when he finally lets go of Palpatine. He's like ready to like collapse.
Yeah, I think the prophecy is what was keeping him alive, and by extension, it was Palpatine being alive that kept him alive.
Yeah, so do you think he knew at this point that, like, he said, like, later you were right, so do you think he was right that he was the chosen one and everyone was right, so he's still good in him? Because I think Anakin stayed with the dark side because he thought, like, oh, there's no going back, right?
He was chosen to be part of the dark side.
It was only until the end that he realized that it wasn't too far gone. And by the time that he fulfilled the prophecy and killed Palpatine, he was at peace with himself.
Yeah, and it makes sense. Everybody thought the prophecy was wrong, but it was right. He was the chosen one. Until the
sequels.
J.J. Abrams trilogy. But we'll save that for a minute. But let's just talk about the Rogue One and Solo. What do you guys think about Rogue One and Solo?
Rogue One's like the best movie. It's like not the best movie, but it's a really, really good movie. I watched it like many times. It's one of the best movies.
And you said the
Agreed.
blind guy in
It
that
is
movie-
very good.
Yeah, you said the blind guy in that movie could have much power.
He definitely did. If he was able to survive, he could actually beat up people while he's blind. He believed he was a Jedi. He was not a Jedi whatsoever. No one actually could train him or did train him, but he did have at least the basic Force powers.
I do think that's pretty awesome. I think, in my opinion, Rogue One is pretty good. We get introduced to how they got the Death Star plans, and seeing one the digitally they took a character. By the way, the one who plays Larkin, I think, in the first movie on the Death Star, he dies on the Death Star. The actor was dead. The actor died, and they literally took a guy like digitally de-aged, and they made him like they brought him like back from the dead, like digitally de-aged perfectly. He's a different guy, but he's perfectly de-aged. I also like to. It's just a really good movie. What do you guys think of Solo? A lot of people hate that film.
Solo's really good. A lot of people think it's bad, but a lot of people are dumb in this world. So
Cool.
I think it's underrated.
Why do you think it's underrated?
I think a lot of people think it's bad, just like Tornado
yeah,
said.
what happened? Why is it bad? What scenes?
I don't think it's bad necessarily, but I think there was a lot of unnecessary explanations that we didn't really need to know. Like, we don't need to know how Han Solo and Chewbacca found each other, how Han Solo got his ship, how some of these things happened. Although I did like Darth Maul being in the movie, even if it was for only like.
The Darth Maul just they keep adding for no reason. Like he's the only guy that who died like 25,000
Yeah, he
times.
should be dead.
So
He
wrap
should have
this
been
up-
dead at that point.
Let's
But
wrap this up with the J.J. Abrams trilogy. First
I
of all,
hated that.
it was bad.
let's just say explain why it's terrible. Explain.
Do you want me to go?
B first. B's got a lot to say. He's got the steam.
I think I should go last.
All right.
Yeah, Paramount should go.
Paramount.
All right. So first, we got Disney's lack of planning with the series.
Yep.
Yeah, that's kind of my main reason.
Yeah.
Is there anything else like that? Because like
It is
that's not
especially
it.
obvious by the end that they had no plan.
Yeah.
What about you? Tornado. What about you?
What?
What do you think?
Tornado.
I think that is good.
All right.
What did he say?
I don't know.
Nothing. I think it's good
Why is it good?
Why is it
Was it good?
because it is very helpful to the storyline as always,
But
and I like how they introduced.
prophecy. It messes it up.
Yeah, but it's good for the storyline, and I like the characters.
He doesn't know what he's talking about. B, you go.
All right, so let's start with the first one, Force Awakens. Now, this one wasn't actually as bad as some people make it out to be. It's not as bad as the next two.
Sure. Keep going.
But it's just A New Hope again. I'm sure Disney probably didn't really know how to start another Star Wars trilogy, so they just plagiarized A New Hope. I guess they knew in hindsight that it went well, so I guess it makes sense to try to use the same formula, but it's
and it works
pretty
because it was
obvious.
really popular and it's really good. And it's like,
Hold on a minute. Fixing something.
It's very obvious that they
How lack of planning.
took most of the story from that. And there were good parts though. There was Kylo Ren was a good character.
Yes.
I liked when he killed Han. Well, I didn't really like.
Kylo Ren he was really depressed and goth.
She was an edgy teenager.
That scene, by the way.
Yeah.
Really liked that.
It is a good scene. I like it. Rey is pretty good in the first movie. Finn is actually a very good character. Poe is good. A lot of the characters are good in the first movie. I also especially like Snoke.
Yes.
And General Hux is actually great in the first movie.
Yeah. He's like he gives like a Hitler speech. And like
yeah, that was pretty cool.
That's actually
Yeah, that was a really good movie.
So the first movie wasn't as bad as the next two were gonna be.
Yup.
I'd say the biggest downside though is that they kind of copied a lot of the story from A New Hope. But if you put that aside, it's not as bad as the next two. Then we get to A Last Jedi. This one is very controversial, and I'm gonna say it's not. I think it's bad, but not for the reasons that most people think it's bad.
Why do most
I
people
think
about it?
that I think a lot of people very much dislike the death of Luke, but I think it isn't as bad as some people make it out to be. And he had to die at some point.
Yeah, Luke had to die. When I first went to go see the movie in the theater, I literally said in my head, Luke's gonna die, because I thought he was gonna die.
Yeah.
I was right. He did die.
I had the same idea when I was watching the movie
But
first.
a lot of the movie,
and
after I walked out of the theater, I pretty much forgot almost everything that happened.
Well, they had to put an end to Luke at one point, so
Yeah,
that
exactly. Yeah, so
Something.
some people are mad about him dying, like they wanted him to be in the last movie, but at that point his character served no purpose anymore. It's not like he's gonna go and defeat Snoke, like it's not his story anymore.
Yeah.
No one wants
The
a
original
Grouch
trilogy was his
Mr. Grouch.
Yeah,
it's
original
Rey's
trilogy was
and
his
Kylo
story.
Ren's story now.
Yeah, the original trilogy was his story, and he served his purpose. Is also too, he's not what he used to be. He's a sad and lonely man, and you wouldn't fight him anyway because he didn't even show up to fight Kylo to face. He was still upset because he thought Ben Solo turned into Kylo Ren. He still thought it was his fault. So it makes sense for him not to fight.
So I don't dislike it for the same reason as the fans, but I dislike it just because of how boring it is.
Yeah.
The first half of the movie is just the Resistance and the First Order having a staring contest in ships until Leia gets blown out and then flies back into the ship. What?
You have and then you have this beginning scene where they have the ship blow up and Leia's in space. She should be dead.
Yeah, it didn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, but it's just a staring contest, and then you have this boring side mission that I forget about Finn and this other lady, and then
that was pretty bad.
Yeah, that was pretty stupid. But the Captain Phasma fight was pretty interesting,
though. Captain Phasma had potential to be a really great character, but they did nothing with her, especially because she had a pretty good actor.
Yeah,
but
the actor was pretty good.
It's not like she even acted anything because she was behind a helmet the whole time until the very end.
It sucked. That mission was so horrible, and then like you said, the Republic and the Empire have literally a staring contest. They're not even attacking each other. They're just waiting for the next move.
And I think Leia should have died instead of just fly back in.
Because the actor died around this time anyway.
They just kill her off in the next movie anyways, and there was actually genuinely interesting storytelling possibility with her death and Kylo Ren, but they don't go anywhere with it.
Yeah, because Carrie Fisher, the actor of Leia, she died around this time. They said she finished filming The Last Jedi, but it was right towards the end. She passed away from a heart attack, but it sucks. Do you guys remember her death being announced everywhere? Do you remember that?
I don't remember that.
I didn't even know she died until seconds ago.
I got a notification, my mom was saying to me, Princess Leia's dead, and I'm like, what? Princess Leia's dead? And then it was the actor passed away, and then people were making memes saying of Darth Vader and Palpatine going no, and then there's this very interesting fan art that somebody made, and it was C-3PO, R2-D2, and Chewbacca, and Han Solo going to her grave, leaving flowers, and it was a pretty nice moving touch to the actor. But yeah.
One thing that I liked about The Last Jedi was the scene where Snoke died. It was pretty cool to see Kylo Ren betray him, but I have a very big issue with this scene. They show him turning the lightsaber too much. By the end, it's blatantly obvious that Kylo Ren's going to betray him, when it should have been a surprise moment where the people were surprised to see this. Yeah. But that's not what they ended up doing with it.
Well, they had to portray his character's emotions, give him a reason to actually betray him, instead of, he was, loyal until he said bored one day and betrayed him.
It's so stupid. Snoke could have had the potential to be a new big bad. Because
exactly.
When we're talking about prophecy. We're gonna go back to the prophecy bit. We have the prophecy. It's about the Sith and Palpatine. Anakin killed Palpatine. It was done. But Snoke could have been like a new big bag, not a Sith, but just a new villain. You know?
Yeah, I agree very much with that.
And they could have done that, but no, they brought Palpatine back anyway. And then we get into the second half of the movie. The second half, that was the memorable part. They go on a planet. There's this huge battle. It's memorable. But no, let's get into the Rise of Skywalker. This is the
Well,
one where
before we get to Rise of Skywalker, I want to say another thing that I liked about The Last Jedi. I think Rey was a pretty interesting character in this one. The first movie, she was just kind of there until in the end she became the main character. And in the Last Jedi, we actually get some pretty interesting scenes with her training with Luke, and also when Kylo Ren reveals that she's no one. This could have been an actually good, like, part of her character until they ruined it in the next movie by making her Palpatine's granddaughter.
yes,
Well, they had to fit her some way into the Jedi bloodline for her to be
Well,
a
the
Jedi.
point should have been that, like, you didn't have to be a Jedi, which is what the Mop Kid was supposed to mean. Like, you don't have to be a Jedi or related to any of these characters from the original one to be a hero.
And then we get to the
Well,
last
that's the opposite of the story of the early Star Wars, where you had to be born with the powers and all that kind of stuff. So I feel like it's the opposite of what they were going through to originally. So
Yeah.
I'm